Hello, welcome to my live. Just give me 1 second, please. I'm a little bit behind. Just about. Um, yes, today is Wednesday, the 3rd of June. Already June, and it is 1 minute past 6 p.m. UK time. I'm a therapist and coach, and I come here live on YouTube twice a week, every week, to talk about mental health, therapy, psychology, and anything related to the mind, and how we can elevate our quality of life from those places. And so, disclaimer, I'm not giving professional advice within the capacity of that live stream because this is not a professional setting, and so it's not impossible for me to give professional advice. Um, I would need to see the person, to know the history, and to focus myself fully on them for a little while before I could do that. What I do, however, is to suggest and recommend some some ways um, to change some of our habits, as in habits of thought, habits of interpretation, habits of yeah, all the habits that shape our lives. And so, with that in mind, um, we have Share Bear. Hello there. Hello, Share Bear. How are you doing? And the first one today. Is there anything you like to talk about? I I was thinking about something. I can get started with that. I just went for a quick walk outside in the park, and I realized that there was a subject that I wanted to talk about for a long while, and I haven't had a chance yet. And it's about how the narrative that we have about anything shapes our reality. And so essentially, this can be seen in many different aspects, uh, in many different places. Um, I'm going to give an example. When you look at the news, when you look at media, the way a story is framed is going to dictate our experience of it. It's going to create a bias. So typically, if you look at all the mainstream channels like the BBC, they're going to present an event, and the way they're going to present it is going to basically give us already the idea of who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. Um, and so, for instance, we know since October the 7th that they've been extensively being corrupted and trying to manipulate people with propaganda by always starting interviews with questions like, do you believe that Israel has the right to defend itself, or do you support Hamas, or sort of things? And when they do that, they are framing already the good guys versus the bad guys. So this is an example of how narrative creates reality. There's no such thing as one truth. There's only our experience of the truth that is dictated by the narrative that we give that experience, that event. But where it's important and useful in psychology is that we do the same with ourselves. The way we think about ourselves, the way we think about the world is the narrative that we have of it. And that narrative is going to create our experience. And so if I'm constantly telling myself, I'm not enough, I'm rubbish, I'm worthy, I hate life, people are bad, but I'm so useless that there's nothing I can do about it. Now, because of that narrative, I will create that experience for myself. And that will limit my potential and my life. Whereas if I could realize that this is happening and upgrade my own narrative of myself, now things are different. So how do we do this? A very simple way to do this is to choose better questions for ourselves. The quality of our answers are determined by the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves. And we need to realize that our thoughts are a series of questions and answers. And so if you ask yourself better questions, you get better answers. If you ask yourself a certain type of question with a certain type of energy, you will get similar answers. So for instance, if I tell myself, why is the world so bad? Why are people so mean? Um, then the answer that I'm going to get from my subconscious mind is going to be because that's how it is. The world is bad, there's nothing you can do about it. It's always been like that, it will always be like that, and it is what it is. And now I'm going to feel terrible about myself. I'm going to feel disempowered. If I ask myself, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with her? The answer that I'm going to get is because they are bad, they're inferior, they are trying to hurt you. Um, if I ask myself, why is this always happening to me? The answer that I will get will be because you're a loser, because this is all that you deserve. What sort of things? And so we want to choose positive and open question instead. Not open, open question, pardon my French. And ask yourself, what can I do about this? How can I make this better? What can I learn about that thing? How can I move on from that situation gracefully? What is the one positive thing that I can take away from that thing? Now we are onto something because now our mind, like a drone with a device on it that is seeking what we're asking it to seek for us, is going to find the answers, the solutions, the ways to expand our life in a positive and creative manner. And so that's what I wanted to start the live stream with, by just sharing with you the thought that I had on my way back home. I've been for a walk in the park. So now I'm going to read your comment and see if there's any question you'd like me to address today. Genji, hello Didi, how are you today? I'm very well indeed. How about you, Genji, since last week? Cher Bear said hi, hello again. Pumpkin Puff, hi Didi, how are you feeling today? I'm very well. Thank you guys for asking. Thank you for your hearts. It's been very stormy today. I think there's super El Nino happening somewhere on the globe, and so it's affecting everything. And so there's a lot of wind, like very, very strong winds. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because the last time there was such wind, it affected my live stream. I had to stop it. Um, the reception was affected so much that the screen was frozen, and I only realized like 10 minutes after that people stopped being able to see me because of the wind and the storm. So I hope that it's not going to affect the live stream today. Um, let's see. Thank you for the emojis, the little hearts, and the whatever it is. Pumpkin Puff, so I read that already. Genji, I'm alright, nothing really going on, just low energy. Okay. Okay. Um, Pumpkin Puff has saved another turtle. Oh wow, fantastic! Yes, now you are the turtle savior, the turtle person. Good on you. Uh, good on you. Fantastic. It's beautiful. And the beautiful thing about turtles is that they're so vulnerable because they're slow, um, and also they're very kind animals. So thank you so much for doing this. Well done. Good on you. Bear, good job saving a turtle. Yes, yes, we had that chat a couple of weeks ago, and very often we feel disempowered, angry, sad because we are witnessing some things that we don't like. And what we forget is that we can always change how we feel about that experience by trying to do something about it. We may not always be able to do something about it, but if we are at least trying to think about what we could do, how we can organize something to change this, even if it's in a very little capacity, it's still something. And that shift changes everything. It empowers us, it reminds us that we have some agency over life, over things, over the world. We can do things, we can change things. We don't have to just witness injustice, unfairness, cruelty, and suffering without doing anything about it. And just the awareness of this is very powerful. This is how we reclaim our power. Again, I was talking about how reclaiming the narrative helps us reclaim our power, and this is precisely it. We're changing the narrative by telling ourselves, by replacing why are all those terrible things happening. If we replace this with how can I make this better? What can I do about this? Now the narrative has changed, the energy has shifted, and we are in a state of power. Bear, I love all creatures. Yes, I do as well. Thank you, Bear. Pumpkin Puff, that's what my mom said too. I'm now the turtle saver. Yes, good on you. You should have a website, a t-shirt, something like that, a tattoo. The turtle savior. So let me see if there's any post that I have written about or that I'm going to write about that I can talk about. Again, for those who don't know me, I'm here to discuss psychology, mental health, try to teach people a different perspective to enhance the quality of life. So if you have any question at any given time, please do ask me. I'm here for that. In the meantime, if no one asks me anything, however, I will just talk about whatever comes to my mind. I've got a comment from Pumpkin Puff. It was very hot, so I ended up walking far to get them closer to the water. I can't imagine they can get around very well. It's true. And also, we all have that image of the turtles who are upside down on their shell, unable to even get back on their feet. So, yeah, fantastic. Good on you. Um, okay, let me go to my post and see if there's something that I can talk about. Um, I don't know if you noticed, but now instead of posting 3 videos a day, I post only one. But I'm trying to make them maybe more insightful, a bit longer, as opposed to just snippets of thoughts of wisdom. Um, I've got a comment here. Pumpkin Puff. My husband was sitting in the car, though, and it seemed like it was a bit of an inconvenience. I'm not sure that that's just in my head or not. Okay. So I don't know what to say about this. Did you ask your husband? If you feel that something is bothering you, what you have to do is to speak, ask, right? Did you ask your husband? And if not, why? And if you did, what happened? Pumpkin Puff. So, oh, Share Bear. What about schizophrenia diagnosis? I don't know much about schizophrenia, I have to say. I know of it, but I don't know much about it. I can go on Google and see if it inspires me to say something about it. So, schizophrenia is a severe long-term mental health condition that affects how a person thinks, feels, and behaves. Individuals may experience psychosis, making it difficult to distinguish reality from their own thoughts. Symptoms commonly include hallucination, delusions, and disordered thinking. So, yes, key symptoms. You have the psychotic symptoms, altered perceptions of reality, including hallucinations such as hearing voices, and delusions, fixed false belief. And then you have the negative symptoms, a reduction in typical behaviors and emotions, such as social withdrawal, lack of motivation, flattened emotional expression, and poor self care. And then you have the cognitive symptoms, which are issues with executive functioning, including poor concentration, difficulty retaining information, and trouble making decisions. So you can see that with all of those symptoms, there's always a lot of overlaps with other conditions. But I think the main thing about schizophrenia is really the hallucinations and the delusions. Um, I have experienced myself hearing voices, so some level of psychosis, but of course not enough to be labeled with being schizophrenic. As with all conditions, we all experience in different capacity the full spectrum of human states and emotions. What makes it a label would be always the the level of intensity, the level of frequency, the level of duration, how bad it's affecting our life. Um, but aside of that, I don't know much what to say about schizophrenia. I have never addressed anyone who was labeled, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Um, Pumpkin Puff. He said I did good, but I got the vibe that he was possibly a bit annoyed that he had to wait for me to walk so far and then run back to the car. So what did you do about it? What did you do about that feeling? Did you question the feeling? Did you ask him again? Your power is in what you do. If you keep on thinking, keep on wondering, keep on questioning things, but you don't do or you don't say anything about it, you will suffer from this. Remember, in the face of anything, we always have three options. We can either do something about it, we can accept it, and allow for things to happen without our intervention, or we can choose to suffer from it by thinking about it without doing anything about it. Um, and so my question is, did you do something then at the next moment about it? Pumpkin Puff, he said he was fine and didn't have any feelings. Okay. So did you accept that information? Did you believe him? Did you choose to believe him or not? We can talk about this if you want. Genji, I was looking into depression and learned about PDD. I've been wondering if that's a part of why I have felt so numb for so long. And so PDD, persistent depressive disorder. PDD is a chronic, mild to moderate type of depression that lasts for 2 years or longer, formerly known as dysthymia. I'm looking into depression. The reason why you feel so numb is because you have some limiting belief about yourself and about the world that has developed into many things. So some of them may be depression, some of them may be something else. We are not unidimensional. And so it's not just this, but it's about understanding that if we have some problems of any sort here and there, we will have some level of depression and anxiety. Depression and anxiety are the two things that are connected with any mental and emotional imbalance. Anxiety is born from fear and hypervigilance, and depression is born from disconnection. We're disconnected from something very important to us. And so it's telling us that we have disconnected, maybe from happiness, maybe from hope, purpose, maybe from ourselves, from our body. So it's not just this or that, right? You may have some level of depression, I'm sure. I don't know if that's enough for you to be diagnosed with that. So you can do your own work and research and see if you can have some tests done on you. But I believe that you don't need that because you already know that you're depressed. You already know that you struggle with life at times. You struggle with your own thoughts. You struggle with your own reactions, with your own inability to regulate your emotions at times. And so you don't need to have all those labels. You don't need to understand all those things. All you need to do is to find out what is the belief that originated all of that chaos in your life. That's it. This is why I learn and research always more and educate myself more about mental health in terms of psychology. I'm not a psychologist, but I read an awful lot about it every day, and I'm obsessed with that, and I talk about it online as well. However, when I address my clients, we use very simple terms. We use words that people use so that we can understand, so we can be on the same wavelength. So we don't necessarily talk in terms of diagnosis, or we don't use necessarily highbrow vocabulary or jargon. We generally just address the problem. What is your problem? Give me a bullet sentence that resumes in simple ways what is your problem, and then we address that thing, regardless of whatever it may origin from. Now, when we understand diagnosis and labels, it helps. But the real work is not to work on the labels, it's to work on how a person perceives the situation, how they're going to phrase it. And so we use that phrasing to work on their blocks, on their triggers, on their unhealed wounds. Sherbear, what are your thoughts on channeling spirits? I believe that we channel all sort of things. So the first question is, do you believe in spirits? And I do. But then again, there are a lot of different ways to look at that. I believe in quantum physics. I believe in alternate realities. I believe that we're only experiencing a reality based on our consciousness and based on the reason we have to experience that reality. But what I mean by that is that I believe that there's no such thing as one reality. There's only the reality that we experience based on the template, the filters, the belief that we have, based on how our brain is organized as a human being, and so on and so forth. And so, with that in mind, I believe in spirits. I believe that sometimes maybe some of us have the ability to see past the matrix, to see past the illusion, and to have a glimpse of another reality happening at the same time. Um, I believe that spirits are just entities, and there are millions of explanations to that. There are tons of different belief systems, and I embrace all of them. I believe that everything is possible. I believe that it's great to expand your imagination and your experience of life. And so, yes, I do believe that there are spirits, but to me, they're not like ghosts. Um, who are trapped into this reality because they can't, because there are some things to finish before they can move on to the afterlife. This is only one interpretation. It's not the one that I choose. Um, for me, spirits are maybe again it's just us maybe colliding with a different dimension for one moment, and we are able to see them. They are able to see us. We're able to communicate with them. I don't believe that there's a death. I believe that we just move from one dimension, from one reality to another. And so, in that sense, yes, I believe that we channel spirits, we channel ideas, we channel thoughts, we channel emotions, we channel everything. We are a vessel, and things are happening around us, through us, to us, from us. Um, and our human experience is going to be limited by what we believe we are. We believe that I am a person, I am a body, I live in that reality, so this is how I'm going to define that experience. But know, for people who are very interested in alternative thinking and have a very flexible mind, then we can imagine all sorts of things. So yes, I don't have a very specific fixed definition for anything. For me, really, anything is possible. I believe in everything, and I believe that this is how we should be exploring our reality instead of being trapped into one fixed definition of what is and what is not. Um, does it answer a question? Share bear. Would you like to expand on that conversation? Pumpkin Puff. I tried to understand. It was just hard for me to fully believe that he was fine. He seemed shorter with me. I kept asking, and I think it made it worse. Okay, so now, what is the problem? Now that we talked about it, it's all interesting. I took note of it. What is the problem? What is the thing that is still making you talk about it? What would you like to change about this? If you can tell me that, now we are onto something. Right? What would you like to change about it? What is bothering you? Shabert said hi again. Pumpkin Puff. We got into a bit of an argument. He deemed I was too far gone and walked into the other room. He said, I'm sorry you feel this way. We didn't talk the rest of the night. Okay. Okay, so again, what is the problem? Shabert. Again, I'm not being dismissive. I just want to understand what you would like me to bring into the conversation. I would like to do this, but I need to know what is the thing that is annoying you the most, that is most problematic to you. Genji, a part of me is just wondering why I feel broken so often. Normal conditions will make things worse. Maybe me trying to understand is making it worse too. It's not necessarily going to get worse, not at all. It can get better. Actually, I believe that as long as you're working on yourself, it will get better. As long as you're coming here, as long as you are thinking about those things, as long as you are trying to make your life better, it will get better. It may take a lot of time. It may go worse every now and then before it gets better, but it is the intent that matters. So if you are here talking to me about your mental health, it tells me that you are going in the better direction. Um, uh, if you can zoom out. Um, So it's normal to wonder why you feel broken, but here's the thing: you can focus on finding out why did this happen to me, or you can choose how am I going to fix this? What am I going to do about it? Remember, the way I started this very live stream was about how when you are changing the narrative, you are changing your reality and you are reclaiming power. And so this is precisely another example of that conversation. You can either have the mentality, the mindset of why is this happening to me? I want to find out the level, I want to find out the origin of it. Or you can shift it to, okay, what am I going to do about this? How can I make it better? What are the actions that I can take right now, right here, to feel better about myself? You can do this. We talk about it often. We can talk about it more, but there's always something that you can do right here, right now. Um, and this is what you want to remind yourself. Um, there's a very famous analogy in Buddhism, and it's about it's either the arrow or the snake. So if you get bitten by a snake, you can either be angry at the snake and think, "Ah, snake, why did you bite me?" Or you can seek help before it gets too bad. And it's the same thing with the arrow. You can either seek shelter from the archer, uh, from the archer, or you can stay there thinking, why did you do that to me? I hate you, and wait for another arrow to land into your face. And so I understand it's not easy, it's not simple. We do what we do, but this is the point of this live stream, is for me to remind you guys that we can always do something. And the reason why we don't do anything is because it takes time to change our habits. But this is what we want to do. Realize that there's always something that we can do at any given time. What it is, we have to find out. It's for us to find out what it is. It may not be big, it may not be exciting, but there's always a slightly better alternative than what we're experiencing in this moment. Shaber, thank you. All right, thank you. Genji, true. I already know that I have felt this way for so long. Maybe this is a point, but I just need to stop thinking about it and focus on other things. Yes, so I just talked about it. So, yes, now we are agreeing. Very good. Shaber, I love that explanation. Thank you, Shaber. Pumpkin Puff, what do I do to help myself just trust and let things go? So I don't know what is the problem. I need you to tell me what is the problem. What is the thing that is annoying you? The thing that you don't trust yourself, the thing that you don't, no, the fact that you don't trust yourself, the fact that your husband reacted like that, the fact that it keeps happening. I need you to do some mental work here and to really zoom in and locate what is the problem. Because otherwise we're just talking in the abstract and I'm not sure really what you are trying to ask me. Helen Arnold. Helena O'Neill said hi. Hello. Dylan, does hypnotherapy work well for PTSD or are other options better? So there are many options, and whether it's better or not depends on the individual. However, with PTSD, hypnotherapy has proven many, many times that it can really, really help people. I helped a lot of people with PTSD and CPTSD. And so it depends on the type of hypnotherapy. It depends on the person that is going to use that system with you, and it depends on you also, because we all have different sensitivities, and so there's not one system that works better for everyone in the whole world for everything. There's only the system that works for you at this point in time in your journey based on what makes sense to you. So for some people, they may resist hypnotherapy because they have some prejudice about it. And so the job of the hypnotherapist, if they are experienced and clever enough, is to explain to them how it really works so that we can realize that it's going to work on them as well. Some of us resist hypnosis, like me. I'm one of those guys who resist it naturally. But then I understood why I resisted it, and now I don't resist it anymore because I was able to experience something that made me understand the true nature of hypnosis. And it's the same thing with everyone. Uh, Hypnosis is something that affects everyone, but whether or not we're going to allow someone to um, to connect with our subconscious mind will be down to our prejudice about hypnosis. We all get hypnotized. We all hypnotize one another all the time. And we, first and foremost, hypnotize ourselves every single day. And so we are all hypnotizable, and we can all, through the process of hypnosis, find out what are the things about ourselves that are getting us to be so affected by that event. And I'm referring to PTSD here. When it comes to PTSD, people suffer not only because of what happened to them, but because of a predisposition to be affected by it. So some of us have a propensity for trauma. Uh, if you look at the researches and studies, you find out that a lot of people go through the same things, but not everyone respond in the same way. So the example that is often taken is there was a huge studies that was done about veterans of the Vietnam War, and they checked out a lot of veterans who had PTSD, and some of them get better after a few years, some of them get better after a few months, some of them get better after a few weeks, some of them never get better and only get worse and worse and worse, no matter what they tried. What is the difference? The difference was their propensity for it. And so we found out that every single person in that conflict who experienced the same situations, those who couldn't heal or resisted it were people who had a terrible and very difficult childhood. They had some violence at home, maybe dad was an alcoholic, sort of things. They didn't feel safe. So they don't have a coping mechanism. They don't have a system to regulate their emotions. And so now they're exposed to horror and now they are all over the place. Whereas people who were able to heal, they all came from a loving, supportive family. That's the difference. And so the work that I would do if we were going to work together, utilizing hypnotherapy to address PTSD, would be to find out what is the propensity, what is the sensitivity. And then the next thing for me is to change the energy of the memory. Um, yeah. I mean, every case is different, but we change essentially that that element that has gotten us to suffer more from the trauma than other people who would have experienced the same situation at the same time. I hope it makes sense. Um, Now, having said that, it's often said that EMDR is also a very good system for people who suffer from PTSD, and that is also true. But again, it depends on the practitioner. It depends on whether or not the client and the practitioner have an emotional connection. If there's a trust, that changes everything. So there's that. I've heard all sorts of stories that are not positive when it comes to EMDR. And there may be some also about RTT, which is the system that I use. I haven't heard them directly, but there are all sorts. And so we don't want to judge systems by hearsay. It's really about understanding how it works and realizing that there's something for you, but it's for you to find out what it is. Um, does it answer your question, Dylan? Pumpkin Puff. I struggled to just let things go because I could feel the energy shift. So I kept pushing, which did cause a negative energy shift. But then him saying you've too far gone set me off. I just wanted to make sure he was okay and not cause an argument to be gaslit. Okay. So I'm going to assume that what you say is that you struggle to let things go. So what do you struggle? I'm still not clear about it. I still don't know what is your problem. I want you to try to put yourself into my head and realize that I want a bullet point. I want to know exactly what it is, and we're going to address this. Because we go back and forth into different things here. Genji, I could find it for you, but I would like you to try to find it for yourself first. Pumpkin Puff, I just wanted to make sure it was okay. So I read that. Genji, thank you, Didi. I have been looking into Buddhism as well, so that's interesting you brought that up. Buddhism is a very, very important school of thought that is extensively borrowed in psychology now. Think about mindfulness and meditation. It comes from Buddhism, Taoism, from Eastern philosophies, Hinduism, not just the Chinese. But all of those things are coming from the East. They've always been there, and now we are all using this. Um, and by we, I mean all mental health professionals who understand that those things work. And so, yeah. Even when you think about cognitive behavioral therapy, uh, the whole premises of psychology is to change the way we look at things. And this is what Buddhism and Taoism teaches us, to just change the perspective we're looking at something from. Pumpkin Puff, so sorry, I'm sort of all over the place thinking about it. It's okay, don't be sorry, we're just having a conversation, we're having a discussion, it's all good. I felt like I was dismissed and then ignored. Now I'm thinking if I was in the wrong for asking more than once, or if we both messed up, repair. So what would you like to change? What would you like to change? What is the problem that you would like to change? Pumpkin Puff. Dawn Woodland. Hi Didi. Hello Dawn. Lidija. How to find an anchor for meditation. Any tips for searching? Thank you. It's easy. You choose. You don't find an anchor. You choose it. And so you can have visual anchor. You can have auditive, auditory anchor. You can have feelings, sensorial, like body anchor, touch. You can have anything at all. You choose whatever you want to use as an anchor. And so if I, let's say, choose a visual anchor, I may use a candlelight, or maybe a fireplace, if I have a fireplace and it's winter and I'm just going to stare at it. This is my visual anchor. And I'm going to return to that thing whenever I start to think about the past or the future. Whenever my mind is starting to start to drift away, I'm just to bring myself back to that anchor. That's it. If I choose my breath, I'm going to focus on the feeling of my body moving because of the breath of the. I'm going to focus on the feeling of the breath going in and out of my nostril, of my throat, in my lungs. I'm going to focus on that. So I'm going to focus on the rhythm, on the sound of it, on the feelings. This is my anchor. I have chosen it. It's very simple. And the job is to return to that anchor. Um, if I'm choosing an auditory one, I can play the sounds of nature, birds, waterfall, rainforest, or maybe I can play some music that are designed for meditation. I can play a tape with someone talking, a hypnosis tape that is going to get some thoughts into my mind. Or I can just listen to the air conditioning. I can listen to the fan if it's hot. I can listen to the sound happening outside, and I just focus on that sound. And that's the anchor. It is that easy. Did you mean something else, Lidja? Lidija? Um, you don't find an anchor, you just choose it. And and the job of meditation is to just return to it. You can create also a visual anchor in your mind. You can close your eyes and you can visualize yourself being on the beach or being sat down in your secret garden, your tree, your house in the tree in your mind, whatever it is. You create something. This can be your anchor, and you're just there enjoying yourself. Um, Dylan, thank you for answering my question. Of course, thank you, Dylan. Spiraxis, hello. Oh, cheese egg. Are you able to increase the volume of your microphone? It's a little bit hard to hear from you. Guys, do you have any problem with the sound? At the moment, it seems all right because I've been able to talk about bits and bobs for half an hour. I don't have a mic at hand, so I won't be able to do much about it. I did check my volume, it was high. So guys, people that I know, people that are regular to the channel, if you could let me know whether you can hear me or not, that would be helpful. And I'll get back to you, oh cheese egg, based on their comment about it. Lidicha, I thought it should be some safe space, safe place in my mind, something nice. Yes, you can do this. So you can do this just like as I said. My last example was that create your little imaginary happy place and return there if you want. There are different type of meditations, and it's about knowing what sort of meditation is easier for you at this point in time. And so try different things and find out what works for you. Pumpkin puff. But also, Joe, would you like to tell me why do you want to meditate? What is the purpose of meditation for you? Pumpkin puff. I want to change how I respond at points of emotional overwhelm. I want to change how to. I want to change how I respond at points of emotional overwhelm. I felt like I needed reassurance instead. Got more and more overwhelmed to the point of small argument. Okay, I want to change how I respond. Okay, so we talked about it a few times. I'm going to repeat it. It's not a problem. I know that it's confusing. But whenever you feel something, I want you to accept and realize that you cannot choose your reactions. You cannot choose an intellectual response over an emotional reaction. Because if you react, it's a reaction. And by definition, a reaction is a reaction. You don't choose reactions. They are your subconscious emotional program. It's emotional, it's subconscious, it's fast, it's automatic. You don't choose it. So you never can choose your reactions. Accept it. First thing first, accept this. Because if you don't accept it, you're going to have shame. You're going to feel, oh, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why am I broken? Why am I so... You keep doing this to yourself because you can't accept that your reactions are your automatic program. There's nothing that you can do about it in the moment. You can upgrade it before and after an event, but not as it is occurring. All right? So I want to change how I respond. You don't change how you respond. You realize that it has happened. And then you work on yourself and you ask yourself, why did that happen? Why did I feel like that? Why did I react like that? And then next, you bring yourself back into the present moment. You practice mindful breathing. You do anything that can bring you back in this moment so you have mental clarity again. And then that's when you do the work. You can ask yourself, okay, now I'm understanding that I reacted like that because of that. Do I still need to react like that in the future? Do I still need that system to keep protecting me the way it has protected me up to this point? Do I still need insecurity? Do I still need overthinking? Do I still need the self-doubt, the suspicion? Do I still need any of those things? No, I don't need those things. So the next thing that you want to do is to tell yourself, it's okay to feel like that. No shame, no guilt. I never chose the trauma. I never chose the wounds. I never chose the system. But I'm working on myself. So it's okay to feel like that, but you don't need to feel like that anymore because now I need to do my best every time it happens to remind myself that this is happening. And so you create a mental note. So again, ideally, you want to seek professional help. If you work with someone like me, I will go straight into your subconscious mind and will fix your belief there and now. But if you don't have access to this sort of protocol, you just remind yourself, and over time, it may take some time, but you can make this happen over a long period of time. Accept that in the moment, there's nothing you can do about it. Accept that it's not you, it's your program, it's your trauma, it's the people who hurt you in the past. And then let it go. Give yourself grace, give yourself compassion, give yourself love, kindness, patience. Give yourself all of those things that they didn't give you. And, and that's it. That will help you have, first and foremost, a different perspective, perception of yourself, which is paramount into how you feel at every moment. But then also, you will learn how to see things from a different perspective, and eventually, over time, you will be able to create more and more space between you and your reaction. It's something that you need to practice over time. It's a skill. So it's not something that will happen like that. It's never going to happen like that because it's a skill that you have chosen and you have created, that you have installed and you have solidified and reinforced over time. You did it yourself. So it's going to take some time to dismantle. What you want to do is to create a new better habit instead of the old bad habits. So you want to change the belief. You want to address what is the belief that get me to react like that? What is the thought that I had in my mind that get me to have the other thought that is creating problem for me now? And then create that belief. Is it true that da 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 da? No, it's not true. Is it useful that I believe that? No, it's not useful. Is it kind that I continue being like that? No, it's not kind. So I'm going to change my belief, change the meaning, change the interpretation of the event that has gotten you triggered. So this is the thing you want to do. Change the meaning of the event. And remind yourself, I felt like that because when my husband behaved like that, I believed that he was dismissing me. I believed that he didn't care about me. I believed that I was invisible. He didn't take me seriously. I believed that I didn't matter. This is the belief that I had. I only suffered because I attributed that meaning to his action. He had that face. He said those things, and I interpreted those things as I don't matter. This is the belief, right? And so now ask yourself, is it true that I don't matter? Is it true that when he says that, when he does that face, it means that? No, it's not. What could be the other truth? Maybe that's his face. Maybe that's what he does. Maybe he can be clumsy. Maybe X, Y, Z. There are millions of reasons as to why he's done those things, said those things, or behaved in such ways, or look like that. That has got nothing to do with your worthiness. Does it help? Does it make sense? Pumpkin puff. And the more you do this, the easier it will be for you to remember this faster. And the beautiful thing is that not only you will be able to do this with him, but you will also be able to transfer it with all of your other relationships over time. Um, oh, cheese, I can hear you. Sorry, it's just very quiet. At least on my phone it is. Okay, so it's all good, right? Fantastic. Thank you. MOHT6. Hi, Lydia. The sound is okay. Thank you for the answer for meditation. Thank you. Pumpkin Puff also is telling your partner that you're too far gone, then giving me space and okay response. There's no such thing as an okay response. There's a huge discrepancy between an intent and how we perceive it. And so it's 50-50. If it really hurts you, you have to tell your husband, can we meet in between? Can you find a way to say things that doesn't trigger me because I'm very sensitive and those words trigger me? But also on your side, you can remind yourself, maybe that's the way he does things. And so the example that I often give is me and my husband. So my husband is autistic, so he can be very blunt. He can be very hurtful. I have been so hurt by the things that he said and the way he said them for a long time because we didn't know that he was autistic. So I took it personally. Now, because I have my conditions, there are still things that I don't like him saying. So it is a compromise. We agreed on meeting in the middle. So I need to remind myself whatever he says is is never personal. That's how he talks, and he never means it because it's his brain. This is how he says things as they are. Um, and him on his side, he's reminding himself that I am sensitive, and he needs to do his best to change the way he communicates with me. So it's like a race. We are both trying to improve our respective conditions, and it's about who is going to. Uh, it's like a game. Who's going to get there the first? Now, of course, it's not a competition. It's not a race. So we are both working on ourselves, and because we are seeing that the other person is making an effort, that's all that matters. There's still some moments of frictions and an argument because of things that are said or things that are not said or how it's been said. But um, but the moment we realize that it's okay, it's not because of you, it's not because of me, it's because we're different and we're learning how to communicate and we're both doing our best. And it takes time. And as long as I see that he's making an effort, and as long as he sees that I am making an effort, we both are reminded that we are both doing our best, and that's enough, right? Does this help, Pumpkin Puff? Dawn Woodland, it is a little low, Didi. Okay, there's nothing much I can do about it. No, I put the sound to the max. Um, I know that it's very windy outside, so I don't know if that would affect the reception in some ways. I remember there was a time when a storm interrupted my live stream altogether. But there's nothing much I could say. I'm sorry. If it's really low, then I will stop the live stream because there will be no point for me if no one can hear what I say. But if you can hear some of the things that I say, uh, then bear with it, please. um, Simon said hi. Hello. Cheese egg. Who is that portrait of on your arm? I've got a few ones. So this one is Kali. You've got Buddha. Here you've got Death, but I can't go too high. You've got quite a few ones. Yeah. Pumpkin Puff, you can just go into my mind and change how I think. Yes, I understand that is the point of RTT therapy, I guess. I don't fully understand how. In that case, ask me. Remember, I don't bite. I'm here for that. So if anything you want to ask me about RTT, just do. But yes, I don't. I change. I don't change. I don't change how you think as such. I offer you a fresh perspective, and from that fresh perspective, you're going to be able to think differently. And so, just like I've done with the example just before, your husband says something. What hurts you is not what the husband said. Anyone else could say that, but because he is your husband and he said that, or maybe it is the word. It depends. We are all different. But there's something that has translated that situation into I don't matter. No one cares about me. No one ever did. No one ever will. And I hate myself for that. So that gets you angry and frustrated. Um, and so my work would be to change my perspective. It's not because it means that. It's because that's how he speaks. Because he's clumsy. Because he's autistic. Because of X, Y, Z. And now, because you are seeing things from that perspective, you don't take it personally anymore. You feel better about yourself. And then you can move on. You don't need to react emotionally to those triggers anymore. Pumpkin Puff. I have told him multiple times to not say things or worst things in a specific way. He will say it anyway, then say, I know you hate it when I say that, So it feels like he just doesn't care. So in that case, maybe he doesn't care, right? I was assuming that you're both working together. If he doesn't care, then maybe you want to ask yourself, so what do I want to do? Do I want to stay with someone who doesn't care about my feelings? Or do I want to believe that I don't deserve better than that? I deserve to be dismissed. I deserve to be told that they don't care about my feelings. Is it what you deserve? Is it what you want? Is it what you believe is the only thing that you can get in life? Pumpkin puff? Because I don't believe that it's the fact. I believe that you can get anything that you want. I don't believe that it's that. I don't believe. I don't believe that we are limited by anything. We're only limited by our belief about ourselves. So if you have spoken to your husband, let me clarify, and please correct me if I'm wrong. You have told him many times not to do it, but he's still doing it. So now ask yourself, why am I doing this to myself? If he's not going to change, why are you staying with someone who keeps hurting you? Is it worth it? Do you get so much goodness that those little moments are not that important? Or are those moments important enough for you to create distress in your life? Don't you think you deserve better? I think this is the question you want to ask yourself, right? Alternatively, you could seek therapy and change how you feel about this so that you may be able to still be with your husband. However, know that your husband has chosen not to change. So there's that. So there's still the question as to, do I believe that there's better in this world than him for me or not? It's a very important question to ask yourself. Sally Taylor, hello Didi, could you help me understand what gratitude is or how it feels in the body? We were taught to be grateful by people who taught us to be grateful or angry. So the last bit is a little bit confusing. Let me try again. Hello Didi, could you help me understand what gratitude is? Okay. Or how it feels in the body? Question mark. All right. We were taught to be grateful by people who told us be grateful or angry. This is not English, and this is what is confusing my brain. We were taught to be grateful by people who told us be grateful or angry. What does that mean? Could you clarify this for me, please? I know there's something behind it, and I would love to talk about it, but I really don't get the last bit. Let me try to guess. It's like a charade game. We were taught to be grateful by people who told us be grateful. I get it. We missed the word too. We were told by people who told us to be grateful or angry. So basically, the people who told you to be grateful were angry. I get it. Gosh, guys, try to spell properly. It saves so much mental distress in my brain. Thank you. So I think I get it right. So basically, the people who told you to be grateful were angry. So now you're confused. You're thinking, why is gratitude connected to anger? It doesn't make sense. And you're right, it doesn't make sense. Gratitude is a good feeling. It's a feeling of acceptance. It's a feeling of welcoming. It's a superpower that allows you to turn anything into better. So how do you feel gratitude? You feel good. You just feel complete. You feel in a state of flow. You feel easy. You feel light. You feel fulfilled. You feel warmth. This is what gratitude is. You're realizing that I've got that thing in my life, that person, that experience, and I'm so happy. I'm so grateful for this. You are present, you are connected to the goodness of that thing, of that thought, of that event. This is what gratitude is. Now, if the people who taught you to be grateful were angry, it's a whole different conversation. They told you to be grateful out of principle, out of self righteousness. You have to be grateful. You have to be appreciative. You need to appreciate that life is a gift. You need to choose happiness. But it's just things that they say. They don't express it. They don't live it. They don't know what it is at an emotional level. And very often, a lot of people do that. They're telling people to be happy, and it turns into toxic positivity because they're not teaching people how to be happy. They're just telling that they should be. How do we teach a kid to be happy? By demonstrating it, by being happy. Happiness is an energy. So when kids observe their parents or their teachers and they see how they run their lives, 1 plus 1 equals 2, A plus B equals Z, or whatever. If they have a formula, I can understand how it works. But if the people who are angry told you to be grateful, understand why you would be confused. Yes, self righteousness. There's a disconnect. A lot of people suffer from the fear of not being good enough, as in not belonging to a community. And so, if I believe in a very, let's say, religious community where everyone is going to practice being happy, pretending to be a good person, so they all end up in heaven instead of ended up in hell, now everyone is going to be confused because they are preaching love, but they are really demonstrating fear and control, manipulation, and division instead of forgiveness, compassion, connection, encouragement. Um, and so, yes, people who are angry, they can't, in that moment, say anything about gratitude because they're angry. If they were grateful, they wouldn't feel angry. They're two opposite territories. Gratitude is the territory of good stuff, happiness, joy, compassion, forgiveness. And the other side is anger, resentment, sadness, fear, anxiety, overwhelm, and so on and so forth. And so you can either be in a positive or in a negative state. Um, but a lot of people say things from a conceptual perspective without the emotional energy that is the most important aspect of it. Gratitude is not a thought, gratitude is a feeling, it's an energy. And that's why when you practice gratitude, it's not about telling yourself, I should be happy because some other kids have it worse than me. Some kids don't have food or whatever. I should be happy because I've got this. Uh, but if you don't feel it, it doesn't work. Gratitude is to really feel that energy of goodness, appreciation, and flow, um, and presence. Yeah. I'm not sure what else to add to it. Maybe there's going to be more comments from you, Sally Taylor. Um, Pumpkin Puff, what you're saying is helping. How does RTT excel the rate that you rewire your mind? RTT is just a tool. So, how does RTT excel the rate that you rewire your mind? I don't understand that question. RTT is just a tool that allows me to access your subconscious mind. And based on that, I'm going to use my skill as a therapist and as a human being to upgrade your program by getting you to realize that whatever happened to you in the past was interpreted by the mind of a kid that was helpless. But now that you're an adult, and now that you're a grown up, you don't need to see those things anymore from a helpless perspective because you have power. My job is to remind you of your power. You don't need to have all of those emotional reactions that were systems that you have put into place as a child. You don't need the anxiety, the anger, the frustration. You don't need to to think certain thoughts and feel certain emotions anymore. You needed those things as a child because that was your only system to make sense of the world that you were in and to keep functioning. Now you don't need that anymore. So my job is to upgrade that and make you see now you can always come back to a space of state of mental clarity, utilize your rational mind to give your life a better meaning, a better narrative. And by doing this now, your power is back. Again, back to the original conversation about the narrative that I started this live stream with today. Um, so yes, you rewire your mind. In fact, every day. Your brain is plastic. So what it means is that it's constantly adapting and adjusting to anything that you do, anything that you witness, everything that you allow, anything that you choose to repeat. So you are rewiring your mind, your brain all the time. The only thing is that if your program is fixed, you keep on rewiring the same thing. So you're reinforcing that thing. And so the RTT is to help you change the program so that over time you can rewire it in the better direction, in the way that you'd rather it to be. Does it make sense? Pumpkin Puff, we are supposed to be working together. He says he's working on it. However, I haven't been seeing it. So there's a lot of things. Is it true? Are you sure that he's not doing it? Because you just told me that he said he doesn't want to. So which one is it? I'm confused. One moment you said he doesn't care about my feelings, and the other moment you say he's working on it. Which one is true? If you can tell me that. I know it's confusing. Maybe there's a part of you that believes him at times, and there's a different part of you that is suspicious of him. So it could be that as well. Right? So again, we can talk about this, but that really reflects how intricate our mind is, and it's never just this or that. It's about knowing where to look at, and also from which angle. Um, Pumpkin Puff. I feel like if I have to say 1,000 of times to consider me, then it was too much. I've talked to him about this too. So it doesn't matter how you feel about it. I mean, it matters, of course, it matters. But what matters more, because you have an inner critic that will do that for you. So this is just about understanding yourself. There's a part of you that you always tell yourself, what's wrong with me? I'm so insecure. I'm so needy. Or I hate myself being like that. But this is a whole different conversation. Um, if you want to address this, just remind yourself there's a part of me that is insecure, that is making me think like that. And so you can choose a different part of you to come out and to grab the mic and talk to you in a different way. Um, Pumpkin Puff, yes, I have told him all that you just said too. He feels he's being misunderstood and he's trying, but we kept going back to this spot. He knows my conditions, he knows it makes me sad. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? What do you want to do? What is the one most important thing for you to change? Again, back to that question, what do you want to change? So I addressed one thing, the meaning, the interpretation of what he said. But now, in regards to your husband, in regards to you being here and your husband being there and you clashing, what would you like to change? Dawn Woodland, relationships are hard work. We have to work at them every day. It can be hard work. It's not always, it depends. Everyone is different. But for those of us who have baggage, it is hard work. I agree. Because we have already enough problems with the relationship that we have with ourselves before we even get started. And so if we have a bad relationship with ourselves, now it's going to make everything much, much harder with everyone else. If we don't know who we are, how can we know how we're going to behave with other people or even what we expect from them? Um, yeah. It's like having a puzzle and there's so many pieces missing. We only have 3 pieces out of 1,000 pieces puzzle. We don't know what to do with those little elements. Simon JC. Hi Didi. How do I open up to love after emotional abuse for years? The best thing to do is therapy, professional help. If you've really been hurt, if you've been traumatized, you may have been, you may have your you may have adapted to the trauma in such ways that the way you function now is different to before. Again, I was saying just now how the brain is plastic and is always adapting to everything. So when we go through a relationship that is abusive, this is CPTSD. Over a long period of time, we change. Our nervous system feels threatened and unsafe. We are constantly being belittled or ignored or gaslighted. And so we're going to change the way we see ourselves in this world. We're going to change the way we express everything. And that is the symptom of CPTSD. It changes the way your brain functions over time. Um, and so my first answer would be for you to see if you seek professional help. If this was really bad, I would suggest you to seek professional help. There's a lot of different systems. Again, I can talk about what I do. RTT is the system that I use, and this is very powerful for certain situations as well. But it's for you to find out what system would be best for you. Now, if you just want to have a general conversation about it, we can do this as well. How do you open up to love after emotional abuse for years? You get rid of the system that your brain has put into place over time because of what happened to you. You realize that what happened to you was then and there, now it's different. And, and you can learn how to, over time, look at things from a different perspective. Now, of course, anyone who knows about trauma will tell you that unless you have access to your subconscious mind, none of those things will work. Because the problem is not here, it's not in your head, it's in your nervous system, it's in your body, it's in your heart, it's there. And that's why RTT or EMDR or other somatic healing protocols are what you want to use in order to access your subconscious mind. But I never want to be one of those guys who says, if you don't do this, you will never get there. It's not true. There are many different routes to Rome, and so it's for you to find out what is your journey. For some people, it can be a lot of holistic stuff. For some people, it can be some spiritual awakening journey. For some people, it can be changing their lifestyle, moving away, being surrounded by different people over a long period of time. There can be so many things. It doesn't have to be necessarily just this or that system. But if we're going to use mathematics from a numbers perspective, people who use the system have more results quicker. But let me be useful to you, because I'm talking a lot and I'm not sure that anything that I say is really useful yet. How do I open up to love after emotional abuse for years? You want to remind yourself that this was one person and that there are millions of people, zillions of people, billions in fact, and there are a lot of good people out there. You have suffered from someone because of bad luck, or maybe because you suffered from abuse in childhood. So there's a part of you that kept on allowing the same sort of people into your life. So you want to address this. You want to make sure that you don't attract always the bad people. But in regards to that specific relationship, remind yourself that it was one relationship. Not everyone is like that. There are a lot of good people. There are a lot of happy people. There are a lot of love happening in the world as well. And so it's for you, number one, remind yourself that what you've been through was one experience. And you can learn how to find better people, work on yourself, so that eventually you can allow also a better experience when it comes to love in your own life. Um, does this work? Pumpkin Puff. I love him. We can be a great team at times. It's been 10 years, but not feeling like I'm being considered emotionally makes it really hard. I'm also confused, Didi. I struggle to trust at all, but there are points where he will tell me he's trying and to trust him, but then the actions don't match the words. He doesn't see how that's an issue. So you want to expand your mind. Nothing is just black or white. It's never just this or that. I understand now. You suffer because you're thinking it's either this or that. And it's not. It is possible that many truths can coexist. Many truths that seems opposite can coexist. So it can be true that your husband said something that hurt your feelings, but it can also be true at the same time that he is loving you, but he's trying his best. It can be true that all of those things that you said, they can all coexist. So the solution to your problem is to learn how to expand your mind into something called dialectical behavioral therapy. And you don't necessarily have to work with someone who does DBT. It's about understanding the premises of that protocol. It's realizing, check out DBT and Google and read up on it. And then you realize, this is my problem. I think in black and white. Why is this and not that? No. It's this and that and that and that. And then what you can do is to realize, so now we have all of those elements. Maybe I can change that or this. But I don't need to decide or believe that it's just either this or that. Right? So this is one part of psychology and healing, expanding your mind, realizing that we don't live in a unidimensional world. We are very intricate. There are many aspects of us happening all at the same time, and we need to be aware of all of those angles and perspectives. And also, there's the element of moment. So you say it yourself. There are moments, there are points where he will tell me that he's trying, but then the actions don't match the words. So now you are conflating two things. Maybe it's true that in that moment he's trying, but then maybe the next moment something has happened. He's changed. Now he's reactive. Now he's defensive. He has his own baggage as well. We all do, right? And so I want you to realize that each moment we are someone different. We have a different part of us taking over that moment. And it doesn't mean that your husband is lying, that he is unreliable or this and that. It only means that him, just like you, just like me, just like all of us, we change state one moment after each moment, all the time, all throughout the day. And so when you can understand and accept that, that expands your perspective. It's not just, he's good or he's bad. Oh, why? It's sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm bad, depending on X, Y, Z. There are millions of reasons as to why this happens. And what we want to remind ourselves is that no one is perfect. We're all trying our best. And I'm choosing to love him. So I'm going to learn how to understand the man better. I'm going to learn how to not to take things personally. I'm going to learn how to choose better meanings to a situation. I'm going to learn how to change this because I want to do this for myself. You can't control what your husband is doing. You can't do anything about him. You can only do something about yourself. You can express how you feel about him, but that will not change him. That will only get him to hear what you have to say. And it's important. It's to do this. But expressing how you feel will not change him. It will only share what you feel. And if he's aligned with that, it may change. But he may not, as you have noticed so far. And so, yeah. I think we're getting somewhere today, aren't we, Pumpkin Puff? Pumpkin Puff, just me asking him for space to him is me asking him to stop caring because he wants to sit and fix things right then and there. So there, again, expand your mind. It's true that it's annoying to you that he's behaving like that, but it's also true that he's coming from a good place. And so, yeah, express how you feel, but then address what you can change about yourself. You can only change how you feel about yourself. You can change what is happening in your inner world, not what is happening outside of you. Pumpkin Puff, I'm sorry for the paragraph. It's good. Don't be sorry. But that keeps us talking. Simon, thank you, Simon. Genji, oh, the issue is the nervous system, not just my mind. Your nervous system is the mind. So again, what is your mind? Everything is your mind. Your brain is your mind. Your gut is your mind. Your nervous system is your mind. Your spine is your mind. Your body is your mind. Everything. It's just that when we talk about the mind, we're looking at ourselves from a psychological perspective. But you are a mind, you are a body, you are a soul, you are everything, all at the same time. It's just about the perspective you're looking at yourself from. I talk about it often. You're not a body and a mind. If you look at yourself from a psychological perspective, you're the mind. If you look at yourself from a biological perspective, you're a body. If you look at yourself from a spiritual perspective, you're a soul. If you look at yourself from a societal perspective, you're a citizen. Uh, if you look at yourself from an atomic energy, from an atomic perspective, you are energy, and so on and so forth. You are all those things. You're not this or that. You're all the one same thing. You are you. And the definition that the thing that you receive from you will only be down to the perspective you are choosing to look at yourself from. And so the issue is the nervous system, not my mind. It's the same thing. I think what I was trying to say, what I did say is that when I did that, it's not the mind. I meant your head, your brain, your conscious mind, as opposed to your unconscious mind, which is your nervous system. I think this is where the discrepancy lies. Pumpkin Puff, I think my husband mentioned that he struggles with being misunderstood. Okay, so there you go. So he has something. So you can't assume him to be something just because you want it. You need to meet him in between, in the middle. You need to realize that maybe he's struggling communicating, like my husband does, because of autism and because of trauma and because of his own limiting belief. We all have limiting belief, and so because of that, sometimes there's discrepancy, and we take things personally. But is what he's doing? He's trying his best. So there's that also to take into account. It's not just he's trying to hurt me, he doesn't listen to me, he doesn't see me. It's really about you zooming out and thinking it's not me versus him. It's about us. Whenever we get into a fight with our spouse or the half or partners, because we are seeing things from the me perspective. It's me and there's the other person in that room. So there's a division, me versus him. What you can do is to zoom out and see two people who are both doing their best, who both have baggage, and begin to learn how to communicate. Some days, one of them, two, will have will be the better person, will have more ability to solve that situation, and some days it's going to be the other person. But the first thing that you want to remind yourself is that it's never you versus your husband. You are both in it together. A very beautiful quote from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, a French writer, is that love is not about staring at each other in the eyes. Love is about looking together in the same direction. And this is what it's about. It's really about realizing that you're in it It's an adventure that you have in common, and it's a healing journey that is both individual and collective. You do it together. This is your adventure. This is the point of you being with someone. It's to create something. It's not just to have something for that person. It's to create a story. It's to create a different perspective, us as opposed to just me in the world. Pumpkin puff. I didn't notice I was thinking in black and white. Yes, okay. So we're onto something. Very good. Pumpkin puff. So basically, things are not as simple as I'm thinking, and I need to see things from other points of view. Yes, this is the whole point of healing, psychology, growth, expansion. Pumpkin puff. I didn't mean to make a complicated situation, but I'm glad it's making more sense now. I'm glad too. Thank you. Well done. Pumpkin puff. I just need clarity because I was confused and upset about it. It's okay. Genji. I understand now. I forget about the effects of our nervous system can cause us. So again, it's not what your nervous system does to you. You are your nervous system. You are everything. It's a part of you, right? It's like when I talk about the different psychological parts within ourselves. They're all you. We need to stop thinking in it's not you and your body, you and your brain. In that within that conversation, see yourself like a whole thing, and that will get you to understand more about yourself and how you can address some of the problems that you have. Vortex script. By there is the way you could literally force yourself on a period of rotting away where you know yourself you got stuff to do or focus on whenever someone reminds me of it what I was about to do. So let me read this again, it's a bit confusing. By the is there a way, okay, I'm going to move away the first bit. Is there a way you could literally force yourself out of a period of rotting away where you know that you got stuff to do? It depends. It depends. There are ways, it depends where you are. We are vastly complicated and different. So it depends. For some of us, there are ways when you can absolutely drag yourself out of that state. But for some others, it may not be possible in that moment. It depends. So I need to know more about yourself for me to give you some suggestions. Um, It depends on so many things. Vortex, and then I will get extremely negative and self-eroding back again. Okay. Do you want to tell me about yourself, Vortex? It is possible to snap out of your state, but the level of possibility varies, and how we can do this also varies on individual cases and history. Pumpkin puff. I like that quote. Okay, fantastic. Pumpkin puff. Pumpkin puff. I appreciate the help, Didi. I think I have a better idea of how to think about the situation. Fantastic. Just to remind you guys, all of my live streams are to be found on my channel the following day. And so if you find anything interesting and you want to retrieve the information, it takes typically a day for YouTube to fully upload my live stream, which means that by tomorrow morning you can replay it. Okay. All of my live streams are there to be found on my channel. If you enjoy this, make sure to subscribe. Vortex, did you major in psychology? No, not at all. I'm not a psychology, I'm not a psychiatrist. I am a therapist, a hypnotherapist, and an RTT therapist, and I know a lot about psychology because I've been a therapist for 9 years now. So I have to learn, I have to understand the mind better in order to help people. And because of my own experience as a human being as well, that led me to do this. Now I have quite a good understanding of how the human mind works as far as healing is concerned. And so that's why I'm doing this within the capacity of that platform on YouTube. I am not a psychologist. I don't have a major, but I don't really need it because I have my life experience and I'm only focusing on the things that I need with my clients. So those things that I talk about, they're tested and tried. They're not things that you read in book only. And so, yeah, if you want to ask me anything, I will come from my own perspective as a person who has studied this within the capacity of being a therapist. Water Lily. Hi Didi, good to see you. Thank you. Same here. How are you? Pumpkin Puff. Question, was there ever a situation with your RTT work where you couldn't help them? I can always help people in some capacity. Now, the level of how much or how I'm going to help people can vary. Right? Healing is not is not linear and it's not binary. It's not just this or that, and there's not just one road. We are again very very complicated, and we have many things to address. And so when we work together, we have an aim, and I'm going to say that for the vast majority of time, we reach that aim. I have a very high level, high rate of success when it comes to the things that I know about, right? If I'm going to address something that I'm not familiar with, it's different. But the things that I'm good at, um, I know them well because I've been there myself, I came out of it, and I helped so many people that I have become very good at those things. So I'm talking about depression, anxiety, trauma, addiction, anger issues, anything to do with borderline personality disorder or ADHD, autism, anyone who have those conditions and trauma on top of that, I'm very good at those things. Um, but if someone asked me about schizophrenia, for instance, I don't know much about it. So if someone really wants to me if someone really wants to work with me and has schizophrenia, I will do my homework and then I will come back to them and say, we can do this, or maybe I don't feel good about it. Let me recommend you someone else. But yes, the things that I'm specialized in, I tend to have a very, very good rate of success. Um, Now, what I was trying to say is that healing is not about changing our whole self. It's about changing some aspect of ourselves, changing the most problematic aspect of ourselves. Because if you have a problem, it's never just that one thing. Whatever we suffer from would have affected other aspects of our life. And so we're going to change some belief, we're going to change some emotional reactions, and this will be guaranteed. Something will happen. But now, if the person wanted me to change everything, then that may not happen. We're going to change the most important things, and then after that, they're still going to have some work to do for the rest of their life. They're going to have a system, an understanding of themselves, and this is what we all do. I do this myself. I'm still healing some parts of myself because because we don't fix a thing. We fix how our brain works, how our body works, and the way our brain and bodies work is the result of a lifetime. So basically, if we wanted to change everything, we have to change our whole life. Everything that we have experienced and witnessed within any aspect of our life, any emotional state, we have to change everything. So we will take an awful lot of work. And so the work is to address the most problematic things and then give people an understanding of how to upgrade the other things gradually over time. So sometimes my clients stick with me and we do more than one mentorship to address different things and we explore different parts of the subconscious mind over time. Um, I had a client who came to see me, I don't know, 5 or 6 times, and he flew all the way from America to come and see me because we had such a great work together and we did so much work. Uh, and But more often than not, people see me once. Uh, I've got some people who see me 2 or 3 times, uh, but not as many as the other guy that I had in mind. Um, but uh, uh, but generally speaking, with one session, you get rid of the most problematic belief. And that changes already a lot of things. Very often, more often than not, from the start of the mentorship, people feel lighter and they can think more clearly. Uh, but of course, there are a lot of things that come into play. If I look after people that are still living in places with the people who hurt them, it's going to be more problematic. I think maybe to answer your question, there has been some cases where I was not really able to help people because I didn't realize then that they were still living with the people who hurt them. So that makes it super hard because whatever we do that goes well, as soon as we're back in contact with them, bang, it's back to the back to base. And so it's very important that we understand the situation from the beginning. People need to be honest with me and tell me everything so that we know what is possible or not. Um, I have when I started my career, I didn't know as much as I do now. So there has been some situations where indeed that happened. However, there's one thing that I always tell everyone is that if a situation is not fixed and the mentorship is still open, I will be able and willing to see them when they're ready to get back to me. Um, yeah, so there's that. Someone asked me that recently, someone who inquired for my services and they wanted to have a guarantee, a certainty of my services success. And we can't do that. There's no guarantee in life about nothing at all. Look at physical health. People die of cancer every day. There's no guarantee of anything. But there's the guarantee that I will always do my best to help people within the best of my ability. And given my track record, that should be good enough, hopefully, for people to give themselves a chance to work with me. Um, and also, when people really need to have to be certain that it's going to work, this is actually a problem because it means that that person doesn't trust themselves; they only trust the outside. One of the most important aspects of healing is to believe that I can heal. I believe that I deserve to heal. I want this to happen. So there's a level of readiness for it. So there needs to be trust. We need to have an emotional connection with that person. We need to trust that they come from a good place, that we know what they do, and that they will help us. Um, there's a say in French: "Help yourself, and the sky will help you." So, Pumpkin Puff, I just wondered, since you were able to change, if there was something that was harder to work on. Again, everyone is very different, so it depends. Um, I'm going to be honest with you. Again, experience makes a difference, and the more I've been doing it for 9 years now, the more I see people who have the sort of problems that I talk about every day here, the easier it gets for me because I can now have a lot of maps in my mind about how to make this happen very, very quickly with people. Um, but there will always be some cases that are more, that are surprising and different and new to me. So again, if I'm going to address conditions, people with conditions that I don't know much of, then that will be more challenging. Um, or again, if they live in places surrounded by people that are affecting the process. Uh, yeah. If I work with someone who suffered from, let's say, narcissistic abuse, but they still live with them or they still see them on a regular basis, that it's a huge problem. Water Lily, I'm starting a new job this week. I'm very nervous because I haven't worked in 5 years. Do you have any tips on how to calm my nerves? Yes, by thinking that it's going to be all right, but most importantly, by letting go of the pressure. I want you to realize that whatever you think about tomorrow will not affect tomorrow in any shape or form. It's only going to affect how you feel about yourself. And so you can either, you have three choices. You can either think about the worst possible outcomes, which is what you are doing, which is why you are nervous, or you can think about the best possible outcomes. It's harder to do, but it will make you feel good about yourself if you can do this. Because tomorrow you have no idea what it's going to be anyway. It's just imagination. So you might as well choose the better case scenario in your mind. Or you can choose to let it go and just think about something else totally different than what you're thinking about. But the most important thing is for you to accept that you may get that job and you may not get it. It doesn't matter. You are back into seeking job, you will find the right thing at the right time. But if you think, it's very important to me, I have to have that job. If I don't get that job, my life will be destroyed. Now you're creating tension, pressure, worries, anxiety, problems for yourself. You're doing this to yourself. And so let go of the pressure and surrender to the universe. Trust the universe. Think, I'm going to do my best. I trust you to give me what I need at the right time. And my best is good enough. And so with that in mind, now you can feel better about yourself. You can do something else, and that means you can sleep better. And then when you're going to do that interview, you'll be fresher, you'll be in a better state, and people will like you more. Uh, I know you're not for job, you're starting the new job. Yes. So okay. So that's different. Sorry, I misread that. I thought you were being for job interview. You are starting a new job. I misunderstood it. If you're starting a new job, just tell yourself, I'm going to do my best. Focus on your best. Accept that there are going to be all sort of people there, and hopefully you will meet nice people, and hopefully problematic people will keep away from you. Um, Remind yourself of your power. Replay in your mind all those times when you did work and when it was easy and good for you there. That will remind you that work, there's nothing to worry about. Um, Everyone is doing their best, and you are intelligent, you are bright, you are powerful, you have resources, and you can solve problems and address any sort of adversity through your work days. Um, does that help? What's already? Vortex. I was thinking of going through the therapist of psychology route. The therapist of psychology route. You mean having therapy with talking therapy? Is that what you mean? However, I just feel like in time it would wear you off. And I think you understand the feelings of just reaching for dopamine or keeping you interested while you deal with your client. And the more you do it, the more you feel this feeling in a way. I'm not sure what you're saying. Are you saying that you seek some help and you originally considered doing talking therapy, but now you're not sure about it? Could you confirm this, please, or correct it? Vortex? Mr. OCD, hello. Pumpkin Puff. Wow, I didn't know you could feel better after the first meeting. Oh, yes, yes. Some people feel lighter after the very first session already. So, yes, it's absolutely, this is why it's called rapid transformational therapy. There's the rapid element. Um, when Marisa Peer created the system, uh, she realized that you don't have to go through years of therapy with no result. Like literally, some people go decades of therapies and nothing happens. So, so she used her knowledge of the mind and her own experience over more than 30 years to create a system that would be rapid, fast. Transformation, rapid transformational therapy transforms. It doesn't just take you by the hand and explains what happened, and then you're left in the same state. You change the way you feel about yourself. You change the way you look at the world and the way you see yourself in this world. Pumpkin Puff, thank you. The answer, I didn't mean anything negative, by the way. I only have good things to say about you, but it was just curious. But I was just curious with your work specifically. Okay. Um, like with everyone, anyone, any profession there's going to be, I mean, when it comes to helping people, either mentally, emotionally, or physically, there is going to be different ways of success for vast different reasons. And so we just want to do our best with what we decide, which journey we're going to start, and things will get better. Um, the more we trust a process, the more we trust the person, the more we're going to condition our mind to heal and get fixed faster. Because there's something that comes from the inside out. If we have a subconscious block about healing for self-sabotage, then that will actually hinder our progress. Vortex. What I mean by psychology roots is when you described that you're a therapist. So I was thinking of majoring psychology, and I feel like the psychology role has a way of emotional capability. So it depends. Um, the things that we learn in psychology, a lot of things are useful, and some things are not so useful. But the most important part is to have the intelligence to use this information. A lot of psychologists just have information, but they don't know how to transfer it, how to teach it, how to implement those things. So this is where we're all different, and the most important aspect of a therapist or a psychologist is who they are as human beings, what sort of brain they have, what sort of emotional intelligence they have, what sort of experience they had in their own life, how they can relate, how they can feel about all those things, so that they know how to apply this in which way, in which order, in which capacity with each client. Um, Academia is one thing, but it doesn't mean much. Um, some people with academia are useless. Some are good. Some people without academia are useless. Some are good. So we want to stop thinking that because someone has a diploma about something when it comes to mental health, but it's not true. What we know about mental health has only been useful in the last 25 years or so. Before that, everything was rubbish, harmful, toxic, bad, negative. And so it's still a very new science. And this is why there are so many different protocols out there and very little regulation. Um, And so if you decide to learn about psychology, I'd say it's a great thing to do for yourself. If you want to help others, it's not necessarily the first thing that you need to learn. The first thing that you need to learn is to have, first and foremost, an understanding of yourself. If you have any problem, address your problem. Find out how to fix your baggage, and then that will be your first experience. You can feel, you can experience the before and the after. You know what it means. And then find a protocol, a therapeutic protocol that can help you make this happen. So for me, it was RTT. For other people, it may be EMDR or other protocols. And on the side, also learn about psychology if you can. Um, but a lot of things that we learn in psychology, and when I say we, I didn't study at school. I do it on my own in my capacity as a therapist, but I'm obsessed with that. So I've got this going on for me. Because of my ADHD brain, I do hyperfixate. Um, so that helps me ingurgitate a lot of information, process a lot of information, and connect the dots together. This is the most important thing. Um, but yeah, everything matters. But learning about psychology is not necessarily what I would put as the number one priority. Uh, because just understanding doesn't give you a tool to address people. You just understand. You still need to learn how to teach this and explain those things as well. And then, as I just said, you need to learn how to connect the dots together. So this comes with a lot of life experience and a lot of having the right brain to make this happen. Um, does it make sense, Vortex? Vortex, interest in other things that are giving them dopamine to keep them emotionally stable, I think. So not everything is about dopamine. So dopamine is very important, but it's only one aspect of mental health. Genshi, hyper-focused research is the best. It's actually enjoyable. Yes, it is. We get high on the thing that we have chosen to hyperfixate on. That's why we hyperfixate. We're talking about dopamine. In that case, there's a situation to do with dopamine there. I just realized that I haven't had any coffee yet, so I'm gonna have it now. Vortex, was I clear or was I not? Let me know, please. Oh, you forget to read the paragraph before that message. Did I? I have two. Oh, yes, I did. You're right. I thought it was one that I read already. So I'm going to read them again, back to back. From Vortex, have you ever seen people dropping down psychology even after having degree, even due to emotional depth, or they're unable to sustain themselves? For example, I always seen psychologists with great interest in other things, but are giving them dopamine to keep them emotionally stable. Let me try to understand. Have you ever seen people dropping down psychology? What does that mean, dropping down psychology? I don't understand. What does dropping down psychology means? Okay, so in psychology, dropping down usually refers to an emotional or nervous system shutdown. Okay, I didn't know that term. When the brain's threat detection system is overloaded by trauma or severe stress, it drops to freeze state. As I don't know, dropping down and protect you from further over. So freezing, basically. So have you ever seen people freezing even after having degree? Oh yes, absolutely. A lot of psychologists, a lot of mental health professionals, a lot of therapists are very damaged. A lot of people are broken, and yet they're helping others. So whether they can or not is it's a whole different conversation. But many of us we end up in the profession because we have our own baggage and unhealed wounds. And so the problem happens when instead of addressing our problems with the tools that we have learned, we are going to focus all of our effort on helping others because it's easier to deal with other people's problems, which are a projection of our own, rather than facing our own darkness, our own shadow parts. So yes, I see a lot of therapists, a lot of mental health professionals that shouldn't be. Some of them shouldn't be working because they're so overwhelmed by their problems. Yeah, it's sad, but it happens a lot, sadly. For example, I always seen psychologists with great interest in other things, but giving them dopamine. I'm not sure about that part to keep them emotionally stable. I believe that we all have different systems to navigate through our lives. Is that what you meant? Um, Helen Smith, you look tired. Get some rest. All right. This is very unkind what you just said, right? I'm sure that you come from a good place, but actually, you know what? I'm not sure. I don't know if I look tired, but I feel happy. And I love my face. I love the way that I look. So I hope that you can appreciate it. If you really find it like a problem that I look tired and I need some rest, you are projecting your own maybe insecurities about being judged if you look tired or if you needed some rest, or maybe you're just a troll who find it funny to say something derogatory to a stranger online. I don't know. Helen Smith, which one are you? Pumpkin Puff, is there a way to fix functional freeze response? Sometimes I won't eat and will sit for hours. So the freeze is a symptom to your problem. So you don't address a symptom, you address the root cause of the problem. So again, is there a way to address this? Yes, by finding out what is the belief behind the system that gets you to freeze and end up in this state. Um, Freeze is a protective system. It's something that you have created for yourself. So, so instead of addressing the protection system, you want to override the program and tell that program, I don't need a protection system anymore. Bassist, you don't look tired to me, mate. Fantastic. Thank you, bassist. I knew it. Thank you very much. And something else that I would say to Helen Smith is, it's my face. Love it or leave it. Pumpkin Puff. Also, I don't think you look tired. In fact, I think your skin looks pretty hydrated. Thank you very much, guys. So there you go. And so this is how we deal with trolls. There will always be trolls online in real life, and it's not a problem. We don't need to react to them. We just need to say how we feel. If I reacted to that person, that will be only because I believe that what they say is true, and I don't believe that. And even if I look tired, I love myself enough not to feel bad about it. It happens. Sometimes I may look terrible. It happens. It's life, and I can still love myself and keep going. And whatever people say about that will only be a reflection of their own insecurities projected onto me. Pumpkin Puff. Also, I don't think you looked tired, so I read that already. The little kid in me says to sit for hours in a dark room. How to override the program. Therapy. Therapy. Address the belief. Find out what is the belief that is getting you to feel like that. It's always down to your belief. Vortex. Thanks for the explanation, by the way, and you selected one of the good YouTube handle username ever. Fantastic, thank you. Yes, I did think about it. I wanted to change the way I do my YouTube. I don't want this to be about me or my practice. It's really about me now, learning how to tell a story, and I will get to create more content at some point. But um, but I'm working on this already. I'm changing the way I create my content. I want to tell the story of being a human being and basically, yes, um, I follow Stephen Bartlett, The Diary of a CEO, and there's a lot of things that I appreciate about him. But also, it's a very famous name, so I decided to borrow it and upgrade it to The Diary of a Human Being. I think it should be more interesting, hopefully, than The Diary of a CEO for most people. Not more interesting, but more useful, perhaps. Laurie, thank you for going live for us, of course. So if you're new, I'm here every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time at this point in time. I may change my schedule at some point, but for now, it seems to be working. So if you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe so that you're reminded of my live streams and you can come back. And if you know anyone who needs some help, get them involved. I generally come here every week, twice a week, to talk about mental health because I know too well how so many of us are struggling and we don't know where to even get started. Pumpkin puff. Oh, no. Can people fix things like that without therapy? Yes, it's possible. Of course, it is possible. But again, there are millions of different ways, so I wouldn't know for sure. So you want to have a hack, how to deal with freeze. Most of the freeze is happening from the subconscious mind perspective. So it's quite deep. So it's not something that we can do from here. It's a long thing. I mean, we can talk about it next time if you want, but it depends on so many things. I don't want to give people false hope. So it's very important for me to highlight that there are things that would hugely benefit from therapy, from the right type of therapy. Now, again, I believe in miracles as well. So things can happen without it. But we don't want to rely on miracles. I believe in miracles because I have experienced it myself. But yes, if you're in a state of freeze, generally speaking, it's because you're overwhelmed with depression, with overwhelm of any type, stress, life, and so it's not about the hack. It's about addressing again the root cause. So if you don't have therapy, what you can do is to look at your lifestyle. I talk about it quite often. There's so much we could do from the lifestyle perspective that would benefit our mental health. Everything that you experience is a state of protection, and the more you're exposed to stress and overwhelm, the more your conditions will come out. And so to limit freeze or to limit anything at all, you want to limit your exposure to stress. So what you can do is to choose better environment, understand yourself, know your limits, choose the people in your life, choose the things that you are going to do, which place, what time, but also lifestyle. Do you eat well? Do you sleep well? Do you move and exercise? Do you go out in nature? Do you socialize with people? Do you do things that make you happy? Do you chill? Do you meditate? Do you do all of those things? All of those things are important. Learn about those things. Just sleeping, there are tons of things you can learn. Just eating, there are tons of things you can change. Just moving, there are tons of things you could do. There's so many things that you could do. And as you do that, you are reducing your production of stress from the outside in and from the inside out. And that will allow you to be less prone to go into a state of freeze when your subconscious mind believes that it is overwhelmed, because you will be less overwhelmed. And so practice mindfulness and upgrade your lifestyle. There are millions of things you can do. And this is what most people don't realize. There's so many things that we could do. And so maybe in the future, I'm going to create more content about it. Now, it's not just that. This is only one part of the equation, but it's a big part that most people ignore because they're all waiting for the magic pill that will solve all their problems just like that. And it doesn't exist. So we want to consider everything. Even when I look after my clients, I make sure that they understand that all those things they have to do for themselves. It's not just about changing the belief, the emotional trigger. It's also about upgrading our whole lifestyle altogether. So there you go. Something that you can do. Pumpkin puff. Genji, I love the name change. Thank you. Richie Rich. What's the best time to get high for registration, for emotions, and nervous system? Best time to get high? I don't know. I don't know. Don't think that's the best time to get high. I think that if you need to get high, it's because you're trying to escape something. And so the best time to get high is when you're overwhelmed. If you feel overwhelmed by life and you're addicted to something, then your mind is going to consider that that moment is the best time. If you're addicted to drugs, alcohol, gambling, or anything at all, and you want to get high on those things, then, or it can be something else. You can be high by training, going to the gym. You can get high on I don't know, shopping. You can get high on rocking. There's a lot of different highs, but the best time to get high will be down to your physiological state, how you feel about yourself. It's the only reason we get high, to change, to alter our state, because we don't like how we're feeling in this moment. So we need to get high to shift away from that place that we hate. Pumpkin puff. I get it. It's possible, but complicated. Everything is possible. Yes, indeed. And it's about us again, understanding the bigger picture. Vortex. I think it would be great to see your life in your view, such as having vlogs, sometimes like a diary, and probably having live examples of interactive with people around. Yes, there's a lot. I've got tons of projects. But again, I also have a life to run. I have other things that I'm doing that are important to me. And so things will happen when they happen. I stopped talking about my book. I was really, really adamant into publishing my book last year, and I still have that book here in my mind. But there's so many things to do. I believe that the right things happens at the right time. And so if you are interested in what I do, keep me in your heart. And hopefully over time you will see myself grow and change and evolve, as we all do in some ways. But thank you for the comment. Thank you for for having interest in what I do, uh, and thank you for the suggestions as well. I do think about those things, and I agree with you. But when and how, I'm not sure. We see. Generation X. How do you find self-control when what you are doing is killing your body? You don't find self-control. Self-control is the problem. We can't control anything. We want to replace control with understanding. And once we understand, now we know what to do about it. So the more you're trying to control yourself, the more you're trying to repress some aspect of yourself. And you can't repress your emotions, you can't repress your actions, you can't do this without hurting yourself. So we need to basically expand our mind and understand more about psychology. If you want to tell me about what it is that you're suffering from, that could be helpful. How do you find self-control when what you are doing is killing your body? What are you talking about? What is it that you're doing that is killing your body? Are you overeating? Are you addicted to alcohol, cigarettes, or any of those things? What are you doing that is affecting your body? One of my specialism is addiction. I used to be addicted to class A drugs and alcohol for 39 years and more. I mean, more things I was addicted to. I also had an addiction to sex and anger and many things. And so the way we heal is not through self-control. It's through self-awareness, self-acceptance, self-understanding, self-compassion, and then realizing then with all that awareness what to address, what to upgrade, what to change. But we don't want to control anything. You cannot control anything in this life. We have an illusion of control, but we can never control anything. We have a power of influence over something for a limited amount of time, but we cannot control anything. You can't control your heart beating, your lungs breathing, your temperature regulating. You can't control gravity. You can't control the planets orbiting around the sun. You can't control anything. Things are just happening. You can't control what people are going to think about you, what they're going to do. You can't control whether or not the people that you love are even going to be alive tomorrow. We don't control anything. We have only some templates, and we try our best to have a better ratio of positive outcome by following those templates, but we can never control anything. So you want to let go of the idea of control. You want to replace control with understanding. So if you can tell me what it is, we can discuss this. Generation X. Which regularly on the daily basis for regulating our nervous system. You don't get high to regulate your nervous system. You get high to escape a nervous system that is overwhelmed. To regulate your nervous system would mean to be in a state of balance. When you are high, you're not in a state of balance. You are high. You are literally taking drugs to numb how you are feeling, to numb the overwhelm. And so it's not regulated. You're only soothing temporarily the nervous system. And there's a difference, right? Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. Some people have some terminal illnesses and they take cannabis, for instance. So there's also a different context. So I would need to know more about you. But just because you phrased it as when it's best to get high, to me it was more about recreational drugs than anything else. But I could be wrong. So correct me if I'm wrong, please. Pumpkin Puff. Thank you. Yes, I need to make a lot of life changes. I'm working on them though. Good. So you know your answer. Every time you ask yourself, what can I do about this? I know what to do. I need to study and learn more about that thing that could make me sleep better, that could make me eat better, that can make me digest better, that can make me feel better about myself. I need to do those things that make me happy. I need to minimize my exposure to stress. And I'm going to expand creativity, inner peace, joy, happiness, whatever. I need to do all those things to regulate my nervous system. We're talking about regulating nervous system. You do this by doing things that makes you feel safe, not by taking drugs. Richie Rich, is everything actually consciousness? Lol, that's a rhetorical question. So nothing is absolute. So everything is consciousness. I don't know what you mean. I can guess what it could mean. So if you say, is everything consciousness, that could mean, is reality only consciousness? I would say yes, possibly. It's a theory that I can understand. Reality as it is, maybe it's just the product of our consciousness, nothing else. What it means is that within that theory, the reality that I experience is just born from my imagination, and it's all an illusion. There's nothing to it. And so that means that every person that I talk to, they are just in my imagination. They don't exist. There's no reality or they exist other than in my imagination from my consciousness. And the same the other way around. You see me, but I'm not a person. I'm just something that exists in your imagination because you need me in your reality to participate into the narrative of your life. So that could be a way to address your comment, Richie Rich. Richie Rich, that's true. Anything can be additional habits. Okay, I was starting to agree on something. Good. Vortex, I do remember you in my heart as we previously did have a long conversation before the questioning asked you was ... Generation X, food, overeating. Okay, so if you're overeating, it means that you have some belief about you, about food, about life that are creating those situations. So how to deal with that? You have to understand why you have created a system, a subconscious mechanism that gets you to need to overeat every now and then. So maybe it's something to do with your sense of identity, or maybe it's a coping mechanism. Very often we have those systems because we need, because we have a bad relationship with life, and we need to have a stress regulator. Um, and so that could be that. What is it? I don't know yet. I will need to speak to you to know more about yourself. But the way that I address overeating is the same as I address addiction. The process is the same. Overeating is not one thing. It's not a problem. It's the symptom of a problem. We overeat because we need that system to protect us from something. So we want to find out what is the original problem. As with all type of addiction, including overeating, we want to address the fire and the smoke. The smoke being overeating, and the fire being the reason as to why you need to overeat. Maybe it's anxiety, depression, limiting belief, trauma, unhealed trauma. Any of those things would be the fire, and it's got to be addressed. Why are we hypersensitive and reactive to people in life? Um, Generation X, I have health problems that can be healed by not eating, and I can't stop. Yes, so you want to address the subconscious, emotional, psychological aspect of yourself. Have you sought help within those places? Vortex. The question was, what advice would you give to the younger generation if you and I was going to die tomorrow? Oh, keep going. You're doing well. Things are getting better. You are the future. You are better than the previous generations. Every new generations are always going to be better than the previous generations. By design, it's called evolution. And so learn from the past and learn about mindfulness, learn about compassion, learn about emotional intelligence, learn about mindset, learn about psychology, learn about all those things, understand the mind. And then you can change everything. the state of the world is all because of one thing. It's because the people who are at the top understand psychology. They know how to manipulate others. It's always been like that. And so when we're able to see past the lies and the gaslighting and the propaganda and all those things, now we can understand the world better. We understand that it's not me versus them. We're all the same. We're all trying our best. It's just that some people at the top are going to divide us so that we're looking in the wrong place and we keep being angry and reactive. And because we're reactive, we don't have access to our critical thinking and we're easily manipulated. And so, how do we change the world? By understanding the mind, by understanding why do I feel like that? Why do I think like that? Why do they behave like that? They're not bad. They, just like me, have baggage. They, just like me, have to deal with the world the best they can based on a childhood that they have never chosen. So my advice to kids is to learn about the mind so that you can understand yourself, so that you can understand others. And it is only through understanding self and others that we can reconnect, that we can work together, that we can fix everything individually and collectively. That's it. That's my recommendation to the younger generation. What do you think of it, Vortex? Are you saying that you asked me the same question in the past? Maybe that's what you did. Did I answer the same thing, or was my answer different then? Generation X message retracted. Richie rich. Choice of drugs used. Like that. Okay. So you're saying that you take cannabis? Is that what you're saying? Genji, is that why people say knowledge is power? Um, Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is one element of growth, but it's not power. And the very example that I can give you is that, again, we all know that there are certain things that we should be doing. We know it, and yet we're not doing it. Where's the power in that? A lot of people know that we should stop doing something like like Generation X. They know that we should stop eating. They know it, and yet we can't stop. Knowledge is not power. Understanding is power. And understanding means having absorbed that knowledge to the point that now we have become it. We don't need to think about it. We don't need to question it. It has become a habit. So yes, knowledge is only one part of the equation. It's the entry point to something, but it's not power yet. Um, Understanding and applying that knowledge is power. Um, is that what you meant to say, Genji? Badger Gaming. Good evening. My question is, how can you find hope in a situation that feels hopeless? To give context, my wife left, won't let me because of my daughter. My dad took his life. I may have to sell home, no job. Take it one day at a time. Sometimes life can be overwhelming. Sometimes everything is shit. Everything is terrible. There's nothing to do. You feel horrible. Sometimes there's nothing you can do, but just do your best in this moment to keep going. One day at a time, one moment at a time. That's all you can do. And there will be some moment where things will change. Because in the universe, everything changes all the time. So maybe at this point in time, everything seems dark and hopeless. And, uh, and so you don't want to force yourself to feel any different than what you're feeling because you may be overwhelmed. There may be some very good reasons as to why you're overwhelmed. Sometimes we get overwhelmed. It's part of a human experience to be overwhelmed, to experience despair and helplessness and hopelessness. And so accept that it's only a phase. That's what you can do. Accept that time is ongoing and life changes and fluctuates all the time. And so I want you to realize that what is happening to you may suck. Maybe whichever way you look at, it's all bad. But it's only happening now. It's temporary. Everything changes. It may take some time, it may not take very long, but I want you to keep hope by only reminding yourself that although what is happening to you is real and it's true and it sucks, but it's only happening now. Maybe tomorrow, maybe after tomorrow, maybe in a week, a month, a year, whatever time it takes, things will change. And this is hope. Hope is understanding that life is ongoing and things change all the time. There's nothing and no one in the universe that doesn't change. It's the nature of everything. Everything changes, everything evolves, everything fluctuates, everything grows, everything moves constantly. This is life. And so whatever what you're going through is part of it. Um, But sometimes we're so overwhelmed by things that we think that it's impossible that it's going to change. That's too much. And it's overwhelmed. So accept that sometimes it's okay to be hopeless. Sometimes it's okay just to feel shit, to feel horrible, and there's nothing you can do about it. And just allow for that energy to eventually pass. And whatever time it takes, at some point it will pass, and at some point you'll be able to think clearly, and you'll be able to think something, to do something, to move in a direction, and change something ever so slightly. And as you do this more and more, you will be able eventually to create a momentum, and things will start to shift. Okay? Hope is in the understanding that nothing lasts forever. Constant impermanence is the universal law that every culture and school of thought agree on. Everything changes. So I'm sorry to hear that you're going through so much. But if you stay alive, if you keep going, it will get better. It will. But you have to keep going. I don't know in which capacity it will get better or how long it will take, but it will get better. Because the only one thing that creates success is consistency. And so for your life to get better, you need to be consistent at being alive. That's it. Does it help, Badger? And just so you know, I've been in those places myself, like many of us. And many of us, we believed that nothing could change and we wanted to end it. And many of us, like myself, we tried to end our lives. And we really believed that nothing would ever happen. And yet, many of us have changed and have found happiness, love, purpose, connection, all of those things and more. Health. It's possible. Online player. How can I stop road rage anger? You know what? I just realized that it's past 8 o'clock, so I'm going to finish the live stream. I don't want to carry on much longer than after 8. If you enjoy what I do, I would love to talk about it online player. Anger is one of my specialisms. I'm really well versed into rage and all those things. And so, if you really want to find out, please subscribe to my channel. And then realize that I come live every Wednesdays and every Fridays, every week from 6 p.m. UK time up till maximum 8 o'clock, which is now the time in the UK where I am. And so please come back. And if you do come back, remind me of that conversation. Come back at the start of the live stream so that I have more time to address that question. And I would love to explain to you how to make this happen. It's absolutely possible. Road rage is quite straightforward. Um, Vortex. Yes, I did ask you the same question in the past. Okay, I remember. And the answer is different. However, both were really knowledgeable. And in the past, you talked to us about the people you met and how people tend to judge. Okay, dot dot dot. Richie Rich, ice, methamphetamine. So we can talk about it next time again if you decide to come back. I used to be addicted to class A drugs for 39 years. I mean, up to the age of 49. So I can really talk about those things. Vortex, just for the laugh, and that the society is always in a phase where it's against you in this generation, and where deviancy, and you included a reference to one of your experiences. Okay, so I'm glad that I offered a different answer, but also I'm glad that you appreciate both. Genji, they should change the saying to what you said. Understanding is power. Yes, but you know what? A lot of things should be changed. Understanding your emotions and your mind versus questioning everything and feeling like you are in a battlefield all your life. I agree. Rich, my condolences for your loss. Okay, talking to Badger. Badger Gaming, thank you for your advice. That is very useful. Fantastic. Thank you. To know it is definitely overwhelming. I will keep holding on to that one day at a time. Thank you. Please subscribe to my channel and come back. I would love to speak to you every now and then to make sure that you are doing well. Okay. If you feel lonely, if you feel lost, I'm here. This is generally what I do. Uh, Badger Gaming at Witch, thank you, my friend. Pumpkin Puff, thank you again, Didi, for our chat. I hope you enjoy your evening. I will, thank you, and same to you. Rich, how can I control my ego? big conversation. You can't control your ego because your ego is not something to control. Your ego is a perspective, and I would love to talk about it on my next live stream. If you can come back, please. Okay, Rich. A lot of people have a wrong idea of what an ego is. And so it's a great conversation that I love to have, but it's a big one. So please come back either Friday or sometime next week, and we can absolutely explore that conversation together. Um, Genji, I appreciate you. Have a good evening, Didi. Till we talk again, my friend. Thank you so much, Genji, and same back at you. What's up, Didi? Thank you. Vortex, by the way, since you intend to release your book and such, I would love to recommend you AI that will smoothen your work, and it's called Claude AI. And I recently bought the monthly subscription. Okay, I'll look into it. I have discovered AI that I use for different things, but I don't use Claude. Um, at the moment, I use something called DeepSeek. It's a free option, but I know that at some point I will need to take it to the next level. I'm not there yet. I have kind of put the book aside for a while, but I know that I will absolutely benefit from any new technological help that can help me. I will still write my book because I love writing, but I understand how AI can really make the whole thing much smoother. I agree with you. So thank you for the recommendation. I will investigate that option in due time for sure. Thank you, Vortex. Bachelor, I have subscribed. Fantastic. Thank you. I will keep an eye on when you stream. Have a good evening. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm looking forward for next conversation. Which, okay, thank you. Guys, I love you all. It's time for me to go. Vortex. And it definitely eased my time schedule, and it has integrations that will allow you to automate everything. And honestly, it's better than other AI because they have integration with certain applications and such. Okay, thank you. I did read. I've come across many people who talked about Claude, and I noticed it because it's a French name, Claude. So I was like, French app, French AI, intéressant, interesting. Okay, applications and such. I read that already. Guys, I love you all. I wish you all fantastic day or night wherever you are in the world. Again, please subscribe. Remember, I'm on TikTok and on YouTube, and I come on YouTube every week, every Wednesdays and Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time. And all of my live streams are to be found the next day if you want to replay this. And finally, if you need more details about me as a therapist and coach, there should be a link on my bio to my website. Okay? Vortex, thank you for today. See you again. Guys, remember to be kind to yourself always. Bye bye now.